Hello, candle lovers. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Greg, and this is all about candles. I've got another Halloween candle review for you today. This is from DW Home, actually, and it's called Crystal Pumpkin. Now, I don't buy a ton of DW Home candles because for the most part, they are pretty, but sometimes I find that with their larger 2-wick candles, every now and then I've actually had a couple that have been really good. The only ones I have luck with when it comes to performance, strength, and throw are their big 2-wick jars. And this collection also had Magical Pumpkin, Storybook Pumpkin, this one's Crystal Pumpkin, and I actually really liked all three. And I was quite impressed with them. I might have been a touch seduced by how beautiful all of the jars were, but these were actually some really interesting sort of out-of-the-box fall fragrances. Like the Magical Pumpkin, I have a full-length review of that up if you want to check it out. That candle was kind of like a dark, like spooky lavender candle. I didn't get much pumpkin from that one at all. And this one wasn't super pumpkin forward either. It really struck me as more of a Halloween candle than a fall candle, if that makes any sense. But anyways, these candles are all 15 ounces with a 56-hour burn time and 2 wicks on them. And it says it's an embossed pumpkin design. We've got a glass lid here. And yeah, these candles were really beautiful, and I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed the fragrances and how well they performed. So there is a scent story for Crystal Pumpkin. There is something so magical about a pretty crystal white pumpkin. And this candle is no exception! Exclamation point. This fresh scent will bring the magic of the season to your space. With notes of bitter orange, black pepper, ambered myrrh, swirls of ginger spiced pumpkin, warm nutmeg, crushed cinnamon, rich woods, and velvet suede. Ooh, that's a mouthful. So yeah, breaking down those scent notes, we have white pumpkin, bitter orange, black pepper, ambered myrrh, ginger spice pumpkin, warm nutmeg, cinnamon, rich woods, velvet suede. This is a really interesting one. I don't pick up on any pumpkin, and I don't really pick much up on pumpkin spices either. In fact, I would say that this candle and a lot of these candles were really, really mismarketed. What would I call this one? I'd probably call this candle something ghosty. You know, this candle to me is like a ghost in the graveyard type of like situation. Now, we have lots of candles out there that are called that already. Graveyard Ghosts from Goose Creek, Ghost Cemetery from Village, but this is much more of like a ghost cemetery than it is a crystal pumpkin. So first off, I just need to say very, very strange concept that doesn't make a lot of sense given what you're actually smelling. And second of all, I do want to mention as well that my standards for DW candles are quite low. And so if I'm coming across as like overly positive, that's just to say that I'm surprised the candle didn't suck. Does that make sense? I only paid like $13 or $14 for these at Winners, and I had a gift card, so I would never recommend paying full price for any DW candles on their website. Only ever get them when you see them out in the wilderness for less than like $14 or $15, right? Okay, anyways, getting more into the scent. Like I said, absolutely no pumpkin, but there is a little bit of like an orange zestiness to the top of this candle. It sits very like mid to high range. And there's definitely a pepperiness to it that I really like. Just recently I've discovered that I really like pepper notes in candles. That's like a fairly recent sort of scent preference discovery for me, but I do like a nice peppery candle. And this is mostly sort of a zesty, amberish pepper. The scent notes also say ginger spice pumpkin, warm nutmeg, and cinnamon. I don't pick up on those things at all. Not at all. No gingered spiced pumpkin, no warm nutmeg, no cinnamon. Rich woods and velvet suede, yeah, sure. But for the most part, it's amber, it's pepper, it's a little bit zesty, it's a little bit woodsy, and a little bit musky as well on the bottom. And I really like it, and I actually can't think of anything to compare this fragrance to because it is actually quite unique. I wouldn't say that it's the greatest balanced fragrance in the world, but I actually really liked the vibe of this candle. It looked great when it was burning, and it actually performed really well. I did let it burn all the way down until it extinguished itself, and so at the very end there, things did get a little bit sooty, a little bit dark, a little bit murky, but for the most part, it burned very, very nicely and cleanly. I kept it in a hurricane most of the time, just so that it would pool out nice and quickly and helped project the fragrance a bit. And in a hurricane, I'll say that it got to about a 6.5 for strength and throw, which isn't terrible. For me, a 6.5 means a candle has an okay amount of presence, you know? I couldn't smell it from across the house, but I could absolutely smell it in the room, in a more open area, and in a hurricane, like I said. And yeah, I just thought it was a little bit, you know, I like to try different candles, especially during Halloween. I don't need any more vampire bloods or ghoul friends. I like to try new candles once in a while, and this line from DW really surprised me. I ended up liking all three of these candles a fair bit, actually. And yeah, this one sort of has like, I feel like there's a little bit of patchouli in this one too. Yeah, but I mean, DW Home, like, beautiful candle, beautiful fragrance, such strange marketing, especially considering that I would see the DW candles in the store that were like, I don't know, actual graveyards with like wax in the grave, and they'd be called like Boneyard Skeleton, and they'd smell like raspberry. You know, I feel like this candle kind of deserved that sort of a wacky, eccentric type of situation, but maybe they did know that this was one of their better fragrances and that their better fragrances only perform well in like larger 2-wick tumblers. But like I said, this is a ghostly graveyard candle. It has nothing to do with crystals or pumpkins, but I enjoyed it anyways. Yeah, Crystal Pumpkin from DW Home. Keep your eye out for it if you're at like Marshall's Winners Home Sense. If you like the way that it smells on cold and you can get it for less than $10, it was a really beautiful burn. Probably still not a repurchase for me or a solid recommendation, but like I said, if you're out in the wild and you can get it for cheap, I can vouch for the fact that it actually performed all right. So some people might be interested in picking that one up. I really actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Anyways, that's all I have for you folks today. Thank you so much for joining me. You can follow me on Instagram at allabootcandles. Email me your burning questions at allabootcandles@gmail.com. And until next time, my dear candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye now.